Now we're going to transition into the process flows review. First, we're going to be going through pre-billing process description. We're going to go through these steps, and then we'll go through a flow chart, and then we'll go through screenshots so you can tie the whole pre-billing process together. Again, pre-billing acceptance is tied to the invoicing removal event. The invoicing and revenue recognition are deferred. You can record your acceptance either implicitly via the implicit acceptance request set based on your expiration window, your grace period, or explicitly in a manual formation via the portal, OIP, or programmatically through Order Import and Process Orders API. After the acceptance is recorded, the workflow status transitions to closed, the line will get interfaced to AR for auto invoice, and your acceptance date for pre-billing will be used as the invoice date in AR. Your invoice generation and your revenue recognition happen consecutively. Now we have a flow chart depicting that same process. It's a parallel flow chart. The left side will go through the process for a normal, standard, non-acceptance order, and then we'll branch out to the right going into the detail of pre-billing. This is just a pre-billing flow. And again, over on the left, it shows us our setups of the AR revenue management as well as OM. This assumes that those setups are in place and have been completed. If we go down the left side of blocks, we're going to enter and book our sales order. It would default any attributes as normal. We're going to pick, release, and ship confirm our material. It's going to go into an acceptance required question queue. No, because it's a standard order. No acceptance required, and it's going to just fall right into auto invoicing and then revenue recognition, straight down the left side. When we do our pre-billing acceptance order, it's going to start out very similarly. I'm going to enter and book my sales order. When I'm in order management is going to make a call to the AR API and say, okay, do I have any assignment rules set up that meet this criteria on this sales order transaction? If I do, default them in. If nothing defaults, the user can manually enter the acceptance criteria as well. They would go through pick, release, and ship confirm their order. Then they would go into the acceptance required queue, and the answer would be yes. Again, it's pre-billing. We're going to shoot out to the right and say, okay, what type of acceptance are we going to do? Are we going to do it manually or programmatically? Implicit or explicit? If I do implicit and go straight across to the right, it's going to immediately go into another question queue. Has my expiration period passed? How many days past my ship confirm date is my grace period? The key on your expiration period is that it's a date and timestamp value validated situation. If I ship confirm on the 17th and I expect it to be a one-day expiration, just arriving at midnight on the 18th does not mean it's expired. It needs to go exactly 24 hours from when I ship confirmed it on the 17th. So it's going to keep cycling through the no until it expires. And then it's going to go down through the yes into the process acceptance concurrent programs. If you'll look up, it's got 2 stars and explains for pre-billing. Up in the top, you're going to generate a pre-billing customer acceptance program. This is going to complete the implicit acceptance for all eligible pre-billing records. From there, it's going to shoot out, and because it's pre-billing, pre-invoicing, it's going to shoot out to the auto invoice, creates an invoice, and then recognize the revenue. That's implicit. On the explicit, out of the bottom of the decision, it's going to say, okay, are you going to record it manually via OIP? Are you going to programmatically insert the information via Order Import or Process Orders API? Once it's recorded, either way, it's going to come out of the bottom and shoot straight into auto invoice and create the revenue recognition as well. Here's some screenshots depicting the pre-billing implicit. Our first screen is the before ship confirm, and we're on the main tab of the sales order line from the quick sales order, and it shows us that we're awaiting shipping, and this is very normal to most anyone that's used to looking at sales order lines. From there, after I ship confirm, on the top screen I've shown you from the main again, I'm at the additional delivery line information. On my deliveries tab, it shows my delivery is closed and it's shipped. On my line status, it shows me that I'm pending pre-billing acceptance. On the bottom region in the Others tab, this is where all my customer acceptance data is shown. And it shows me that my customer acceptance name is, MT, CA, pre-bill implicit. I have no CA date, which means it has not been accepted. My expire event is my ship confirm date. My expire days is 1, and the type is tied to invoicing. So this lets me know that it's going to expire 1 day after ship confirm, and because my date and my buy and my quantity are all null, it tells me it's not been accepted yet. Here's the workflow diagram for that sales order line. Again, because it's pre-billing, my workflow diagram is held at invoice interface line. If I zoom into that diagram, the bottom screen depicts it's held at invoice interface pending acceptance, and it's going to sit there until it's accepted, and then it would come through and pass the information to AR, update revenue, and close the line. This is a brief depiction of how to complete the implicit acceptance programs. It's a default request set created by Oracle. It contains 2 programs. The first is generate pre-billing customer acceptance, and like we just discussed, that goes out and does the implicit acceptance for all eligible pre-billing customer records based on the expiration period being passed. The second program is the Revenue Contingency Analyzer, and that goes out and updates all post-billing records respective of their revenue recognition acceptance dates for the GL transaction. Here's this view of the sales order line after we complete the implicit acceptance. Again, I'm on the Others tab of the Quick Sales Order form for that line, and you'll see that the implicit CA, which is implicit customer acceptance, is checked, which means it's been completed. The CA date has the date that the transaction was updated. It shows me the CA buy, customer acceptance buy, which is the user that performed that acceptance, whether they ran the program or manually did it. It's the user tied to that transaction. And then the quantity that was accepted, which is 1. Currently, the current release only supports a exact quantity accepted versus the original quantity order. You can't do partials. There's specific steps to follow in terms of how to process those transactions where there's damages or short ships or whatever the situation may be, and how to handle those in the Order Management User Guide for Release 12. Here's an example of the pre-billing sales order transaction after acceptance, and this is a view of the bill presentment architecture invoice. And this is just to show you that my invoice date is the date it was accepted versus my ship date is the date it actually shipped. So I do have a variance there. It's a little bit, 1 day, 2 days, depending on how you have your requirements for reporting. I have an invoice date of one value and a ship date of another value.